Hello everyone, it's time to take an MA Minute. This week we went around Hopkins campus and asked different students about their thoughts and ideas in relation to Women's History Month and the women's suffrage movement.
Who is the one person you think of when you think of the word suffragist?
When I hear the word suffragist, the first person I think about is Elizabeth Cady Stanton and the Seneca Falls Convention and talking about women's right and the right to vote. So that's just the first thing that comes up to me.
Why is it important to look back at history from a female perspective?
I think it's important to look back at history from a female perspective, or honestly a minority perspective, or someone with less power, because a lot of times when we think there was progress, there really wasn't for every group of people. And especially as a woman, I look back and I think oh, there's so many rights that were given to different groups of people, but not everyone got them at the same time. So it's important to really think who had power at what moment and what opportunities were given to different groups of people.
It's important to look back at history from a female perspective because a lot of history is kind of written in the eyes of male perspective. And because of that, the contributions women have made into advancement and innovation are often overlooked. And I think it's important to highlight important women who have made the world what it is today.
I definitely think it's important that we look at history from a female's perspective because if we're thinking about equality in all sorts of ways in life, history is very important to be told from both a man and woman's point of view.
Who has influenced your beliefs about femininity, empowerment, or equality?
During my childhood, I think it was mainly my mother. I have a brother who's around the same age as me, and a lot of the times my mom was very vocal about how my brother and I should have the same opportunities. I think it's interesting because when my public school district was not very equal in who they would give opportunities to, but my mom always signed us up to do everything together. So I just felt whatever my brother could do, I could do. Whatever I can do, he can do. So I felt really gender neutral in a way.
My beliefs on femininity and empowerment, of course, the first woman I was introduced to is my mother. So of course, independence, strength, the belief in myself and the power of my mind, of course, comes from her. And different leaders that you see on TV, or even our former First Lady, Michelle Obama. I think she's also a very important influence to me.
A person who has influenced my beliefs on empowerment and equality is Eleanor Roosevelt because of all of the work that she did as First Lady with working on bettering human rights and civil rights for African Americans and Asian Americans in the U.S.
What do you think epitomizes the importance of women's history?
One of my favorite quotes from her is actually one that really strikes in the heart of what empowerment means for women in the U.S., which is, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Thank you so much for watching this week's MA Minute. We enjoyed walking around campus and talking to students about their favorite female icons behind the women's suffrage movement.